Hi, this is Elizabeth, one of the co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Rachel Mullins, host of No Filter Friday, here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my new show, No Filter Friday, where we talk about all of the sexual misconduct allegations swirling around Hollywood. A new show drops every Friday at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of No Filter Friday. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
History is happening in High Point as professional baseball has come to Furniture City. Don't miss any of the action from strikeouts,
3-2 cold strike 3 right at the knees,
to web gems,
stabbed by Alfonso, he spins, throws to first, and the pick by Bichette rounds out a beautiful play.
to home runs.
High fly ball deep left field. This one is gone. Get up and get out. Tyler Ladendorf.
And of course, every Rockin' victory.
The pitch. Swing, strikeout. The Rockers win. The first win in Rockers history here at home.
Interviews, recaps, and insights from across the Atlantic League. It's all fresh off the Rockers.
Hello and welcome to another week of the Off the Rockers podcast. I'm Kevin McMahon. I will be your host this week. I am the play-by-play broadcaster for the High Point Rockers, and if you've been joining us for 7 weeks, you know that. I just thought I'd introduce myself again. James will not be with us here in the recap session, but will be with us in the interview portion this week, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. We thank you so much for joining us. If you're listening to us through Spreaker, we appreciate that. Another way to find us is where you go where you usually find any other podcast. We are in those places. So I personally use the podcast app on my phone. I have an iPhone. So if you use Apple Podcasts, it's real easy. We are there. I believe we're on Spotify as well. So wherever you find your podcast, just search Off the Rockers and we are there. Subscribe so it comes straight to your phone. And then you'll be up to date and ready for all of your rocker news. This is the best place to get it. The official podcast of the Rockers, Off the Rockers. Episode 7. Let's get into it. Your Rockers had a homestand the week of June 14th. They had a doubleheader built in, so they played 7 games in 8 days with a day off on Monday. And they took on the Long Island Ducks and the Lancaster Barnstormers. The Long Island Ducks series started off with the Ducks jumping out to a 2-0 lead in the series. They won on Friday and Game 1 on Saturday. Your Rockers would come back, win Game 2, and then win on Father's Day as well. Then they would go on to sweep the Lancaster Barnstormers. Your Rockers, this last series at BB&T Point, were playing some great baseball. You want to talk excitement? I'm pretty sure they hit a home run every single day they hit the field. If not, it was only one day where they didn't. But the ball was leaving the park. This is a very explosive offense that is firing on all cylinders. As we've been talking recently, it's the Atlantic League. Guys will come, guys will go. The Rockers had a couple guys get their contracts purchased, and they've had to fill in those spots, and they've done that beautifully. You can go down the list of all the guys who have stepped up, but Tyler Marenkov, Richie Schaefer, Giovanni Alfonso, who had the walk-off hit on Sunday. I mean, so many guys. You can go down the line. Hector Gomez, who has been so consistent for the Rockers this year, is somehow stepping up and playing even better. He was already playing great. He stepped up in a bigger way and playing even better. And the guy who was the star of the homestand, especially against the Barnstormers, Steven Cardullo, had 5 home runs in 3 games in 3 days. It sounds fake. It's true. It is absolutely true. He was unbelievable. Cardullo is a star, and you got to come out and see him and this Rockers team. They hit home runs, they play great defense, and offensively they have just been on fire. I mean, they are hard to stop. They put the way they can put together runs, I mean, it makes it really hard for any team to come through and try to, match that total, because they're putting up 5, 6, 7 runs each night. I mean, it really feels that way. And now they are on the road against the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. They have lost 2 in a row, but they've dropped those by just 1 run. So they're on the road and they are trying to get back into this thing. But as we've said, they're very close. And something that we need to take a look at right this second is the standings in the Atlantic League, and it is coming down to the wire. But your High Point Rockers are very much still in the hunt to be the division leader at the end of that first half and clinch a spot in the playoffs. To clinch a spot this early as an inaugural team or in their inaugural season would be unbelievable and almost an unprecedented thing. I mean, it would be really special if the Rockers could be able to do that, and they're in a great spot to do so. They are 3 games back of the Long Island Ducks, who they won't see again, but you just got to play the games that you have on your schedule, and that's what the Rockers are going to do. I just counted it, including today's game. I'm recording on a Sunday. Including today's game at 2 o'clock, there are 14 games left in the first half. By the time you listen to this on Monday, there are 13 games left in the schedule for the Rockers. So your Rockers are going to need to really take advantage of Sunday's game against the Blue Crabs, and then they have a very long series against the Sugarland Skeeters, who are the number 1 team in the Freedom Division with 31 wins, 26 losses. So they are playing really great baseball, but the Sugarland Skeeters are currently on a 3-game losing streak. So they've fallen on a little bit of a tough time here in their season, but they played so great, you knew they were going to cool off a little bit at some point. But with all that being said, your Rockers are going to come into Texas, and they're going to be facing a very motivated Sugarland Skeeters team who's going to try to get back on the right track. So not only is that a very important series, I think it's going to be a very close series. And if you're lucky enough to be in Sugarland, Texas this week, that is going to be something you want to go see, because that's going to be 2 teams that really want to win. Because the Sugarland Skeeters in the Freedom Division, they're the first place team, but there are only 6 games separate them between themselves and the York Revolution. 6 does still sound like a lot. However, it's a lot less of a lead than they've had throughout this entire season. So don't sleep on the York Revolution, who are right behind the Sugarland Skeeters. They have a chance to make their way as well. In my opinion, the Sugarland Skeeters have a really good handle on this and are in the driver's seat. So it's their division to lose, in my opinion, at this point, because they played so well. But the York Revolution, who Rockers fans have already gotten to see this year, are right on the tail of the Skeeters. They're sneaking up. You could kind of be missing it if you're not taking a look at the league. They've won 3 in a row, and they are right behind the Sugarland Skeeters. So very important stuff in that division. When we come back down and look at the Liberty division, as we said, the Ducks, even when they go through a little bit of a losing streak, which they did when they faced the Somerset Patriots, that series, the Patriots were able to get a handle on the Ducks and rattle off a few wins against them. The Ducks bounce right back. They've won 2 in a row. They have 31 wins, 21 losses. The Somerset Patriots have 32 wins and 22 losses. Your Rockers have 32 wins and 25 losses. But they are 3 games behind the Long Island Ducks and the Somerset Patriots, very close. So your Rockers are going to try to win as many games as possible. And then when they come back, after they have this long stretch against the Sugarland Skeeters, where I believe they play them 6 games in a row against Sugarland Skeeters, they come back. July 1st, they have a 4-game series against the Barnstormers, then a 3-game series against the Somerset Patriots. Now, this could be massive. It is the first time that the Rockers are going to see Somerset at home, and this could potentially be for the division. So those 5th, 6th, and 7th games are going to be very important, but they could be to clinch the division. So keep that on your radar as a Rockers fan. A little bit of breaking news here for your Rockers, as this was given as an update earlier this week, but the High Point Rockers are adding a certain familiar face, and his name is King Q Quincy Latimore, the left fielder. Now, this is a massive re-up to your roster because we already know how great Quincy can be for the Rockers. When he left the Rockers, he was red hot. He was the hottest guy in the league. I think he led the league in RBIs when he left this team. He went down to Mexico. He played great. And now he's coming back here to the Rockers. And it couldn't be at a better time. I kind of compared it. I was talking earlier this week about it and off the air. And I kind of compared it to what's happening in Major League Baseball. The New York Yankees just added Edwin Encarnacion, to their roster. And, in that case, the rich just got richer. The Yankees are doing great offensively and didn't necessarily need another bat, but they'll definitely take it, and that's going to help them. I think the same thing applies here. The Rockers were doing great offensively, as we said, but now they just added another offensive weapon. They've added another outfielder, so that will help the Rockers, if they want to give another guy a day off or two, get some rest. That's just going to add to the depth of this team. And Quincy Latimore, we know he's a great guy. We know he's a great player. And I think adding him back into this roster as the Rockers are looking to win the division here at the end of this first half is going to be just the boost of energy that they need. I don't think it could have come at a better time here for the High Point Rockers. So Quincy, we're excited to see you back at BB&T Point. We're excited to have you back on the team, buddy. Can't wait to see you back in the uniform and back at the point. But as we said, your Rockers are on the road right now. But before they left, we were able to get a little one-on-one interview with a guy who was the man of the hour this week, Frank Nigro. Frank is 21 years old. When the Rockers took on the Lancaster Barnstormers on June 19th, they had won the night before. They were down 7-4. In the bottom of the 9th inning, there was 2 runners on base. It was a 2-2 count, 2 outs. The Rockers were down to their last strike. The pitch comes down. Frank Nigro hits a 3-run home run, ties the game. We go into extra innings, and it sets up Hector Gomez to hit an RBI single to win the game, win the series, and then the next day on Thursday, the Rockers would beat the Barnstormers one more time to sweep the series and would put the Rockers on a 5-game win streak. Really important game and to get on a great streak right there. As we said, they're trying to get back in the division and try to win the first half of this division. And winning 5 in a row, it was so crucial to that mission. And they wouldn't have been able to do that without the heroics from Frank Nigro on Wednesday. James and I were able to track down Frank Nigro right after the celebration and get his immediate thoughts following the home run. So let's go to that right now. Enough. You're tired of hearing from me. So let's go to myself, James Jackson, and Frank Nigro, the hero on Wednesday. It was a camp day. Let's go to Frank right now after his huge home run to tie the game and eventually help the Rockers win that ball game. Let's go to Frank. Hey, Rockers fans, Kevin McMahon, James Jackson here. We're joined by Frank Nigro on this week's Off the Rockers podcast. We are recording this on Wednesday right after the walk-off win for the Rockers on camp day, but they would not have been able to walk off without a 3-run home run. The count was 2-2 in the 9th inning, and Frank Nigro hits his first career professional home run, and it was a huge one. It puts the Rockers on a 4-game win streak. I believe so. Yeah, 4-game win streak, and they win the series. Frank, you're with us. We'll talk about other stuff. We'll kind of shoot the breeze here for a few minutes, but walk us through that and kind of how you're feeling and kind of a whirlwind here.
I was just trying to focus on one thing, honestly, in that situation with 2 outs. It's just kind of pass to the next guy, but I was trying to just barrel it up, hit it hard, and get my barrel out, and ended up doing that, and I got to really enjoy it, and it was an awesome feeling.
How are you thinking 2 strikes when they get on? You're able to work back into a 2-2 count, but what's going through your mind here? Are you thinking home run all the way, or are you just thinking I need to just put this thing in play, or what are you thinking?
After 2 strikes, I was just trying to put it in play and pass it on to the next guy, just hopefully get on base. But I knew he was kind of coming with the fastball because he went slider for 2 balls in a row, and I didn't think he would triple up on it, and I ended up getting the fastball.
Huge spot. Were you nervous?
No. I mean, we've done this so much, like all our lives, that there's always those opportunities to come up big in a game. So it's just kind of like any other at bat. I mean, I was a little bit nervous, I'd say, but you just got to do a good job of just slowing the game down. It's the biggest thing.
All right, now tell me about the celebration afterwards. I saw you grabbing the cooler and going after Hector when he walked off with his single with the bases loaded, and then the guys were really happy to see you when you got back to the clubhouse. Walk us through the celebration tonight.
So yeah, me and Hutch, we got the cooler and we snuck around and we dumped it on Hector, and then as I'm getting my stuff together, Runyon and Hutch picked me up and they carried me into the clubhouse, which is pretty awesome, and people were throwing water on me and stuff. So it was a really good time. It was a great experience.
Now, Frank, as you're 21, right?
Yeah.
As a 21-year-old guy, you're fairly young in the league. I believe you're youngest on the team, and now you just hit that big home run, and they're treating you like royalty now. Does that make you boost your confidence a little bit more going into this next game?
I wouldn't say boost my confidence, but I mean, I'm just getting comfortable with the guys. There's really great guys in this clubhouse from every guy on the roster. They really welcome me with open arms, and they're just showing me the ropes, and they're just taking care of me.
So with that home run, you tie up the game, you walk off, put you guys in a big spot to sweep the series. Tomorrow, by the time this comes out, we will know. But what's your mindset right here, knowing that you're in a spot right now and you were able to help the team and move them in a good spot to continue to be successful before they go on a big road trip here?
Yeah, it's really on to the next. Can't really live in the past game, but we're focused on tomorrow and just executing what we need to execute and score some runs, and we'll be fine. But
you'll hold on this one for a little bit, right?
Maybe like an hour or 2.
I want to ask you a question about your defense. You come through with a big hit there, and that's what everyone's going to talk about. But today you had some big plays, making big blocks behind the plate and really calling some good games the last 2 games out. And then last night you had to throw down to second. So you've had some huge defensive plays. Talk to me a little bit about that, and how does it feel to be able to contribute on both sides of the ball this early?
Yeah, it's more or less the pitchers. They do a really good job of just making everything easy for myself. And, I really don't have to do much because they hit their spots. And, yeah.
So, Frank, like what I had said, you're fairly new to the squad. And now we're looking at it like you're very good at what you're doing now. But when you look back at your time in Wilmington U, what happened? How did you get called by Jamie? How did that all go about, and how did we get you to High Point? How did that all go about?
Actually, Albert's actually the bullpen coach is from the same county as me, but I never knew that until I ended up meeting him. But he was at a pro workout with a bunch of pro teams in the fall because he was working at Felician University, and he saw me, and he just kind of kept me in the back of my mind. And then after the draft went by, he saw that I didn't get picked up, and you guys had somebody get signed to affiliate ball, and he told Jamie, and I came down on I believe it was just for the York series, and then I ended up getting asked to come down to North Carolina.
So let's have a little bit of fun now. Let's switch it up. Let's learn a little bit about who you are before we let you go. So we'll do a little rapid fire. James and I will go back and forth. But let's start with who's on your iPhone, who's on your iPod, music-wise, who you listen to right now?
I'd probably go with Juice WRLD.
Okay. What's your favorite song by him?
Right now it's probably Robbery by him. Yeah.
Listen to it on the way to the park today, actually. No joke.
Yeah?
It's a banger.
Oh, yeah, it's a great song.
So, what's your favorite place to go out and party or drink or eat in Delaware when you were there?
Wherever my friends are at, really. No particular place, just wherever my girlfriend really wants to go or my friends want to go.
Have you been to that new main event place yet?
No, actually, I haven't. My girlfriend has, and she said it's pretty awesome, but not yet. I didn't really have the funds to go there. I think it's like $30.
If you guys haven't noticed yet, Frank and I are both kind of from Delaware a little bit. He went to college there. I grew up there, so we share that in common.
We have some Delaware talk. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Either American Sniper or Southpaw.
Really? I like that.
Who would play you in the movie about your life?
Who would play me?
Yeah, what actor would play you in the movie about your life?
Tom Hardy.
What gets you in the zone when you're going out to play? What really gets you in the zone? What are you listening to hype you up, or what gets you in that mental focus of, hey, I'm about to go out and catch, or what gets you ready to go out and play?
Yeah. So my routine now is a lot different from college because we have the luxury of being able to come to the field as early as we want versus when I was in college. If we had a home game, we had to be there at 9:30 in the morning to set up the field, and then we hit on-field BP. And then for away games, we would just hop on the bus. So here I like to just get to the locker room early and then get some early work in with Albert catching, and he does a really good job of getting me ready for the game.
Now, we had a pitcher in here in Seth Simmons, and he said the connection between a pitcher and a catcher really means a lot to him. What do you think that connection is like between a pitcher and a catcher?
Yeah, I think it means everything. If catcher and a pitcher, one little bump, it's just can't work. But yeah, you got to stay on the same page and just keep rolling.
Now, hypothetically, yours aren't designed yet, but if you could have your pads or your mask designed, what would it look like if you even thought of that?
Never really even thought about that, to be honest with you.
Kind of like a goaltender in hockey.
I don't know. I'm a pretty frail dude, so I'd probably throw a nice chest on there, like nice pecs and a six pack.
Okay.
You mentioned something when we interviewed you in the post-game show, or the pre-game show a couple weeks ago. You said it was your first time being in a locker room, or your first time being in a clubhouse.
Yeah.
So what's that been like? There's a culture to that. So, a lot of adjustments, like about setting up the field in D2 and getting ready for BP. You're a pro now. So what's that transition been like?
It's awesome. There's great vibes in the locker room. Just get in there, hang out for a little bit, get some food in you, listen to some music, and just hang out and talk, watching TV. And then a few hours before the game, whenever it is, you just get your mind right and you get in game mode, but you try to stay as loose as possible at the same time.
You good? So let's do last question here. And it's recency bias galore here. But where does that home run rank in your baseball memories? Where's that going to rank, you think? I mean, it happened less than an hour ago, but, where does it rank?
As of this recording.
Trying to think that I've never really hit a big home run like that to tie a game or anything. Usually I was just in college. I hit 5, and all 5 of them were either we were losing by a lot or we were up by a lot. So that one's probably the most meaningful one to me.
All right. Awesome, Frank. Thank you so much. We'll let you go. Frank Nigro joining us this week on Off the Rockers, the hero today, and we appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Big thanks to Frank Nigro for joining us this week. It was awesome to hear from the catcher and hear him share his excitement and learn a little bit more about him. So a big thanks to Frank. Let's go ahead and get you set for what you can expect when the Rockers return to BB&T Point to finish out the first half of the season. As we mentioned before the interview, your Rockers on the road. They have dropped 2 in a row to the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, each by only 1 run. So your Rockers will look to get back to their winning ways. They just had their 5-game win streak snapped, and they're looking to get back on the right track with the game here on Sunday, if you're listening, the game yesterday, and then their series against the Sugar Land Skeeters, which they will close out June with. And then when they come back July 1st, they take on the Lancaster Barnstormers on the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th. And yes, that is July 4th. We are going to have fireworks at the ballpark on July 3rd and on July 4th. So if you're looking for a place to come and celebrate the fireworks and celebrate the American holiday, the 3rd and the 4th are going to be the nights to do that. So on the 3rd, we're going to have fireworks presented by Schuler Meats, and then on July 4th, you can come down and join us for a Rockin' 4th of July with promotions of a $1 beer night, still on the 4th of July on a Thursday, and there's going to be a hot dog eating contest. So you want to come down and experience all of that fun stuff. And then on the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th, the Rockers, as I previewed earlier, take on the Somerset Patriots in what could possibly be really important games there for the Rockers. I mean, they're going to be important no matter what, but those could be to win the division depending on how everything shakes out in the first half. That could be to win the first half of the season and clinch a playoff spot between those two teams. So we'll keep you updated on that. But either way, the 5th, 6th, and 7th are going to be important as your Rockers are looking to finish their first ever half of the Atlantic League strong. The 6th will be a post-game fireworks show. And then on the 7th, it's a family fun day Sunday. And the kids will run the base. It's also a high sock Sunday. So you have to come out and see what kind of crazy and wild socks the Rockers will be wearing. And if you like them, as always, you can go to the High Pint that day and get you a pair of those socks. So that is a preview of what to expect when the Rockers come back. The very first day you can see them will be on Monday, July 1st, and the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th. All those games start at 6:30. So keep that in mind. And then on Sunday, of course, that'll be a 2 o'clock start. So make sure you race back to the ballpark when your Rockers come back into town. And we hope that we'll see you for the 4th of July, but we'll speak to you before the Rockers come home. But just wanted to go ahead and put that on your busy summer calendar because I know you got so many things coming up. You got a lot of plans, so we just wanted to let you know that because July 4th is coming up, and you might go, how am I going to spend that? Well, we're putting this on your radar here, so you remember and you go, okay, you know what? I'm going to go to BB&T Point and spend my 4th of July that way. So we're going to talk to you next week before the Rockers come home. We'll recap this week on the road, but just wanted to get that July series, the 1st of July series, the one that's going to end the first division on your radar. We hope that you have enjoyed this week of Off the Rockers, and because James is not here, I will do it by myself this week, but I'm afraid we must bid you adieu, goodbye, and good night. We'll see you at the ballpark. We'll see you at BB&T Point.